LSU 8.5 is too low, guys. They're going to the playoff this year. Like, I don't know.
They may be under 8.5. The margins are so thin for LSU.
I think LSU is going to be good. I think they're going to be very good. I think
here's the thing. There are a couple bounces different between going to the playoff and not cashing the over here.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing too, because like Vegas has Florida at 6.5, which is like, makes your brain hurt. Because we spent all year pounding two teams that I've pounded the drum for.
Unless DJ Lagway gets hurt, then you're screwed. Then it's under.
DJ Lagway and Florida and John Mateer at Oklahoma are 6.5, and they're sitting behind teams like Mizzou and South Carolina and Auburn. And Auburn's another team that we've been excited about. But like, you're telling me that LSU and Tennessee are the same this year?
Hold on, let me answer Sharice in the chat. Sharice says, "Does anyone even care about Wake Forest?" Yes, people want to win money. They care about numbers that are off kilter. That number does not take into account that they got rid of the Ole Miss game.
And my hope is that on this show that people are watching and care about everybody. That's the point of the National College Football Show.
Yes.
It's like we get
but also if you'd like to win money
about Georgia too much, and then we get crap for talking about Wake Forest. It's just like I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make people happy. But LSU is going to be either way, a 2-point favorite or a 2-point dog on the road against Clemson, who I have a team that might play for a national championship this year.
Right. LSU does not have to win the Clemson game to go to the playoff.
But you're also already putting Clemson and LSU on like the same sphere. So like at the very least,
Clemson's a 9.5, and their conference schedule is infinitely easier than LSU's.
No, I know, but I think that we all agree that Clemson is going to make the playoff this year, right? Like, is that not that's just a given?
I think it would be very shocking if they didn't.
Okay, let's just do LSU real quick. So Clemson's a coin flip.
All right.
Louisiana Tech 1. Florida, I would say 70% chance of winning because it's at home.
Why?
70%?
They lost to Florida last year. They lost to Florida with DJ Lagway playing on one leg, and that was when they had a first-round offensive tackle in Will Campbell, and they still gave up like 6 sacks. So why are you so sure LSU's winning that game?
I think that LSU is just going to be a much much better team. I think that they have, because of their recruiting that they've stacked up, and I think that they did a really good job in the portal. And I actually am obsessed with Harold Perkins. I think that they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think their running game's going to be better. Their offensive line should be better than it was a year ago, even though they lost a really
Why is their offensive line better when they lost 4 draft picks? Tell me why.
No, I know, you're right. You're right about that.
See, this is the issue. Like, and I agree that LSU is going to be good. I have no argument with you there. I think LSU did a great job in the portal. I think they are going to be a very good team, but I think their margins are super thin because of their schedule. I feel the same way about Florida. Like, Florida could be really good, but like one of these two teams is going to lose this game.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just say, do you want to do a half a game for coin flips? Well, if you're not going to give me Florida, then you're not going to give me any of them. So I guess
well, here's what I won't give you. I'm not going to give you Florida. I'm not going to give you South Carolina. I'm not going to give you Texas A&M. I'm definitely not going to give you Alabama.
Yeah.
But
I just think that LSU.
Let's put the LSU schedule back up again. Put the schedule back up again. The difference between LSU and most teams when we do this is when I say I'm not going to give you the win on that one, it doesn't mean I don't think LSU can win. I think LSU can win every game given the right circumstances.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like the LSU is at 8.5, and they're one of the few teams at 8.5 that you won't like chalk up a guaranteed loss to anybody on their schedule either. And they also don't have to play Georgia this year. And like I feel like Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and A&M are all very gettable teams.
They're gettable, but they also can get you. That's the problem. Oklahoma's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Like this schedule is hard. Like hard.
I'm planting my flag still. You don't have to believe me. I think they're going to be really good.
No, I understand. Like you got to decide who you want to ride with for a season. Like that's an important piece of the preseason. You've decided you're riding with LSU. I'm not riding with LSU.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the thing is,
I'm looking at their 2 deep
A&M
here.
and Florida, like, because LSU, A&M, and Florida all can't have great seasons at once.
Yeah.
So somebody is and somebody's not.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. But I feel like LSU also hits the benchmark of 9-3 is a disappointment, and it hits their over.
I think that's fair. I think that is a fair way to look at it. I just think their schedule is incredibly difficult, and the way it maps out, like, they got to beat Florida. I was telling you right now, they got to beat Florida. If they don't beat Florida, this gets potentially bad.
Yeah, that Florida game too was like their worst game of the year last year, right? Or was Texas A&M?
I'd say A&M was worse, but the Florida game wasn't great.
Yeah.
The Florida game, sort of all of the things that they did badly, reared their ugly head, like abandoning the running game with the play calling. You know, there was the first time that Nussmeier, like the first time that really people were getting Nussmeier on the ground. Like A&M pressured him, which caused interceptions. Florida got him on the ground. But no, I think LSU's defense is going to be better this year. And I think that's where the Florida game may turn in LSU's direction, is if LSU forces some turnovers or if Florida just can't move the ball, which we could see a much better LSU defense this year. And here's why. Harold Perkins potentially playing in the correct role and obviously being available and healthy because he missed most of the season last year. People like DJ Pickett, who's a freshman, who resembles the kind of freaks that LSU used to bring in, LSU has not brought those guys in the secondary early in the Brian Kelly era. Now they're starting to do that. That's how it works. That's how you go over this and you make the playoff if you're LSU.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with them.
I'm shaking your confidence. I can tell.
Well, the offensive line thing shook my confidence a little bit.
Why on earth would you say a line gets better when they lose 4 freaking draft picks, including a first rounder?
Yeah, it didn't land. But I do think that I look around and I see a team that should be 9-3 at the very least.
Should be, but the problem is, and this is the difference between predicting what happens at LSU and predicting what happens at Clemson. Clemson has so many that you're just super confident in. They're going to win that game. No problem.
Yeah.
LSU has a bunch of ones that you're like, well, if the other team has its best game.
Yeah.
Clemson, Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
None of those are guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll pull no. I want to be the first one that saw LSU coming.
Keep the flag where it is.
Yeah.
You were saying it with your chest on text the other day.
But I also feel
LSU.
like LSU. Well, I have LSU in the playoff too. I think LSU is going to be a really, really good team. And I also think Brian Kelly.
If you have Florida in the playoff, you don't have LSU in the playoff, and vice versa.
I don't have Florida in my playoff.
Okay, so you got LSU winning that game, which I think if LSU wins that game, then this all makes very good sense.
It's also at home.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. DJ Lagway may very well be the best player in the country this year. And if he is, and he goes out there and has a DJ Lagway is the best player in the country game, they could win. Like I can't push back at that.
Yep. And look, it's at Tiger Stadium.
But I actually think that Clemson...
I just said I think the defense is going to be better. So
I think that Clemson is a team that you should all run to the cage to bet to win the national title at 20-1 right now, because they're going to make the playoff and sitting at anybody.
And that's why the 9.5 is too low. Because
so like 9.5 is
like
low.
Vegas is giving you, with Clemson 9.5, Vegas is giving you an LSU and South Carolina loss. It's entirely possible they could lose both those games and go undefeated in the middle 10.